Hey folks, got another computer video. And today, this is a computer that I bought for a customer. This customer has an old HP running XP, and they desperately need an upgrade. So I decided, actually I didn't decide. I quoted them on a few machines, a Thinkpad and a Dell specifically. And he went for the Dell, so that's what we got. This is a Dell Latitude E6420. This is a very, very nice, rugged machine. It's basic, in my mind, it's basically a successor to the D630. The D630, Latitude D630, is one of the most well-regarded machines in, in the IT community. The E6420 seems to be a really good successor to that. The Sandy Bridge chipsets were rock solid, so this computer will be rock solid. The build quality, to me, feels a lot better on this than it does on the D630, although it still has issues. This is a refurbished laptop, so it was used, but it still has a little bit of floppy hinge problem, which I can fix just by tightening up the screws a little bit. It has nice styling. I know some people don't like this orange strip, but that doesn't really bother me. The keyboard doesn't flex as much on these, which is nice. Feels about the same as a modern ThinkPad keyboard. The Island-style ThinkPad keyboards, it feels pretty much the same as one of those. So the keyboard is much better. It doesn't feel nearly as cheap as on older models. I like these metal mouse buttons. That's really nice. These might be plastic, actually. I'm not sure. The track point on this is not as good as it is on ThinkPads. It seems a little bit too sensitive sometimes, but that's just a matter of getting used to it, really. At least as far as using it. Trackpad looks excellent. Feels nice. Buttons feel good. Very good stuff. It even has a fingerprint reader. So this is a pretty good model of Latitude E6420. This particular one is spec'd out with a Core i5 and Windows 7. This was refurbished by a company called Genco. So, bought this refurbished off of eBay for about $300. So I think that's a pretty good deal for one of these laptops. Now, the people who refurbished this did a good job. The packaging, they take the laptop, they pack it snug under this plastic material here, so it's snug to this cardboard. Then they put it in a Dell box. Then they put the Dell box inside of a Uline box and then send it. So, very, very well packaged, very nicely refurbished. It has good specs. We'll turn the laptop on and take a look at what they pre-installed. I already set that up just to see what it is. This laptop's going to need a reinstall right out of the box because they did one thing that was extremely stupid when refurbishing this laptop. I don't think they paid much attention to the specs of the laptop and what image of Windows they put on here. So we'll boot up Windows and then I'll point that out to you. They did put professional on it, so at least they got that part right. There you go. Windows 7 is booted up. Pretty stock install with some Dell drivers and stuff. So this is an image they literally threw on here, which I'm going to fix and redo for one particular reason, and that is this. Windows Anytime Upgrade. Oh, whatever. Go away. Anyway, this is what they did. This laptop has pretty well spec'd. It has an Intel Core i5 2520M CPU, which is a very excellent i5. Has 4 gigs of RAM, which is very nice and plenty for what this guy's going to do. However, they put the 32-bit version of Windows on here when it has 4 gigs of RAM. That's so stupid. Especially with stuff using more and more RAM lately, that doesn't leave much room when you upgrade. You'd have to reinstall when you upgrade the RAM. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to install the 64-bit version of Windows using the product key that's under the battery on this laptop, and then it'll be good to go. Let's see what else is in this device manager here. It has Intel HD graphics. It has an NVIDIA Quadro. Wow. That's kind of cool. What else is in here? Intel LAN, rather. It's dual-core hyper-threading i5. IDT audio. Intel 6 series chipsets. Yeah, there's not much to say about this machine. It has a Toshiba hard drive in it. Wow, that's different. How big is it? I think it's a 250 gig. No, it's a 300. Wow. No, I guess it's a 300 gigabyte hard drive. They put a 320 gigabyte hard drive in here. A Toshiba one, which is unusual. I don't see a lot of Toshiba drives in laptops anymore, so that's interesting. Doesn't matter, it's a hard drive, it'll work. So what I'm going to do is reinstall using a Dell OEM disk, actually, so that it's still a Dell image, but it'll be 64-bit instead of 32-bit. To the people who refurbish this laptop, you should know better than that. Like, really. If you have 4 gigs of RAM or more, install the 64-bit image. That should be a no-brainer. I know you're just trying to make money, but it's just kind of stupid to not do that. Anyway, let's check out the laptop itself. As you can see, the top of the laptop is this nice sort of brushed finish, which is quite nice, if I do say so myself. Front of the laptop looks like it has some speaker grills there on both sides. You get an SD card slot with a cover. That's pretty nice. I'm going to try using that to install that Dell image, so I don't have to use the disk drive. Alright, on the side, actually, I'll start at the back here. You get the power, Ethernet. Go back to the side here. You get USB, VGA with the screws, which is nice, and of course a microphone and headphone port. Basically a headset jack. This also has a smart card reader, unbelievably, and there is the hard drive caddy right there. On the other side here we have a Kensington lock, which looks like it was definitely used based on the wear marks there. HDMI. Looks like eSATA or USB port there. 2 more USB ports. The wireless switch, an optical drive, and an express card slot with a cover. Nice. I just noticed on the back here too, there's also a plate for a blank here for a modem. So I guess you could still get these with a modem when they were new. Also, these screws here and here are the ones that need to be tightened so those hinges aren't so floppy. So I'm going to do that and be good to go. Here's the bottom of the laptop. Looks pretty standard fare. Nothing all that unusual under here. Looks like it doesn't have as... I have noticed here it's missing a screw. I think that's just so the optical drive can come out, though. Yeah, that's just probably so the optical drive can come out. No idea. Looks like they're missing a screw there. I probably have a screw I can stick in there. Docking station on the bottom. There's a product key under here, and there's also a SIM card slot down there, which is kind of nice, actually. I really like that. Here's the battery it comes with. It's a 60 watt-hour lithium-ion battery. And there you have it. Just kind of fits in there. It doesn't slide back. You just literally pull it out like that. So, pretty nice laptop, actually. I'm going to install Windows on here, 64-bit version, and it'll hopefully get back to the customer tomorrow. So, excellent stuff. It looks like these are definitely pretty good successors to the D630. The only thing I worry about is the serviceability and opening up the bottom and stuff, but I'm sure I can figure that out. It's probably just not apparent by looking at it. You probably just take out all the screws and then the panel comes off or something like that after you take the battery out. I had to take the bottom off of this laptop to tighten up the hinges because this laptop seems to still have that floppy hinge problem that every Dell I've ever used seems to have. because they don't know how to make a hinge that doesn't loosen itself after a while. ThinkPads can do that, but apparently these don't. But anyway, you take off the bottom cover, which is just a couple screws, and you get access to everything. Absolutely everything. It's very, very serviceable under here. You have access to the GPU and CPU here. And just a word to the wise, if you take this thing off at all to replace the thermal pad, you actually need a copper shim if you have the Quadro, if I remember right. But either way, you need a copper shim for these a lot of the times if you're going to replace the thermal paste, just so you get the proper cooling out of it. So, nice big Sunon fan here. You get your 4 gigs of RAM down here, so upgrading to 8 gigs should be pretty darn easy. It looks like there's a room for a WLAN card here, or a WWAN card here actually. That's for the SIM card slot, I'm sure. There's your wireless card there, and the CMOS battery is very easy to get to. I like that. So all in all, these Latitudes are very, very serviceable machines. Would make excellent workhorse laptops. So design is very, very good on these. I'm very impressed. And yes, that is me covering up the product key with a pair of pliers. Don't ask. Just accept it into your life.